What is up? The Boston Celtics go up 3-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics come back from 18 down. Welcome into another edition of Celtics Late Night. My name is Jake Eisenberg, and I am running solo today. We got some people out with family things here and there. Just like Jrue Holiday, we're going to make this thing work. We're going to step up when the team needs us. What up to everybody in the chat? What up to everybody listening to this later on? 18 down. This is a win this is the win of the season, right? This is the win of the year, regular season, playoffs, easily. I mean, game one in this series, incredible, stolen, but I mean, just like that game felt like just a bit of late game magic, flashbang, got a little bit of luck. But this game, you're down 18. The Pacers are just hitting everything. They've got the devil magic going. And to dig deep, you're up 2-0. You don't need this game. Like the amount of series that go from 2-0 to 2-1, the team that's down 2-0 is always going to be the more desperate team. And that's what it felt like coming in tonight. The Celtics could have just been like, look, we're up 2-0. The Pacers have the home crowd. They are just hitting everything. TJ McConnell's hitting threes. Andrew Nembhard looks like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We can pack this thing in. Let's regroup. We'll come back next game and we'll go up 3-1 and head back to Boston. But no. The Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday, Joe Mazzulla were like, we're taking this thing. We're ending this series. Look, we're going to touch wood. The Boston Celtics have been down 3-0 before and taken that thing to 3-0, to 3-3, but they look, man, this takes mental fortitude. And like, if you want to talk about reasons why this team is different and why this is going to be the year, like, this is a game that you point to, right? And by no fault of their own, the Celtics haven't had the toughest path. I'm not sure it would have mattered either way, with or without Jimmy Butler, with or without Donovan Mitchell, with or without Tyrese Halliburton. But they haven't, had to go through the most difficult path. And you want them to get battle tested. Here we go tonight, right? Like, this team, all year long, they're different for a variety of reasons. But the main one is Kristaps Porzingis. And he's not here. He is the guy that takes his team from the 53 to 57 win team that they were last year, a team that is going to be one of the best teams in the East, a team that's going to be, have a chance to make the finals and win the finals year in, year out, a really fucking good team. But without KP, that's the team they are. With KP, they become the cheat code team. He becomes the guy. He's the guy that unlocks this team and takes it to a whole new level. And so to win a game like this with that old talent, obviously, Jrue Holiday comes in. Man, it felt like a Marcus Smart performance, the way that he took over defensively at points down the stretch here. But yeah, we're going to get into all the individual performances. Jason Tatum, Jrue Holiday, Al Horford doing it again. But, to go from the top here, this does not feel like a game that the team in previous years could win. Like, you go back to last year's playoff run, or game one against Philly. James Harden goes nuts. They kind of choke it away late. Malcolm Brogdon throws a terrible turnover to Tyrese Maxey. Game 5 against Atlanta. Trae Young hits the logo 3 to push the series to 6, and the Celtics have to go back on the road in Atlanta to take the series. Down, like the first 2 games against Miami last year in the conference finals, they're up 9 in the fourth quarter, and they choke it away. This team all year long has given us reasons to believe they're different, and they haven't really had the chance to prove that in the playoffs so far. Game 1 in this series, but this game right here, to not give up, to fight, and to crank the defense up to a level that we haven't quite seen before was so impressive, man. Like, this team is now 11-2 in the playoffs. I've got a tweet here from Shane Young. 11-2. of all the teams that have been 11-2, there is 2 teams that have not won the championship. The rest, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. That's 14-2 teams that won the title. The only teams that did not win the title, the 2017 Cavs lost to the KD Warriors, one of the other teams that hit this mark, and the 2013-14 Spurs, who lost to the Heatles. Like, this team is 11-2, 3-0 in the conference finals, undefeated now on the road in the playoffs. Indiana takes their first home loss of the playoffs. Pascal Siakam is now, that's 12 losses in a row to the Celtics for Pascal Siakam, going back to his time with the Raptors. Like, it doesn't look, this playoff run is so different to the last couple of years, man. Like, and I've continued to say it, 7 games against the Heat, 7 games against, 2 years in a row, 7 games against the Heat, 7 games against the Sixers, 7 games against the Bucks. Like, emotionally, this run is just not what it's been like. It's been a breeze. We've had a couple of stressful moments. Don't get me wrong. Was I shitting myself after Game 2 of the Heat series? Yes. Did I have another existential crisis after Game 2 of the Cavs series? A little bit. Was I a little concerned down 5 with like a minute to go in Game 1 of the Pacers series? Teensy bit. But we'll take this run, man. We've been through the wars. We are 3-0 in the conference finals, 1 win away, going to the NBA finals. Do not let the national media take this thing away from you, man. I'm going to get into some JT discourse a little bit later, but do not let the national media take this away from you. The discourse around the Boston Celtics has gotten insane. Boston Celtics fans have not been able to really, truly enjoy the run that we've had so far. The expectations are insanely high. The goalposts move every single day with the Celtics winning every game. It starts out, they're not going to win a title without Porzingis. They go 11-2 without Porzingis, or however many games KP misses. And now you've got people saying, well, they even if they win the title, they won't be a dynasty. The goalposts continue to move for this team. There was a tweet from Seth Parton out tonight that just made me, and I should be a bigger person and not let so much of this stuff really bother me. But I like to kick back, relax, pop on, whatever the podcast may be. There's a million podcasts out there right now. And anyway, you just can't, they're unlistenable. Here's a tweet from Seth Part now here. With all due respect to their opponents and the players they've had available, that's 3 more losses than they should have. Well, guess what? They didn't actually lose this game today. So careful about tweeting at halftime with this Boston Celtics team. But so the expectation is just they should be undefeated going into the finals. I don't care who they're playing, man. How many 12-game winning streaks are there in a regular season? And that takes into account the Pistons, the Wizards, all these sorry-ass franchises that contribute to these winning streaks. Almost every winning streak in the NBA is littered with disgustingly easy records, and there's still very, very few 12-game winning streaks in the regular season. To go undefeated, the expectations, the insanity that people are discussing this Celtics team with is insane. But look, yeah, so shout out everybody in the chat. I'm going to struggle to put a lot of these comments up on the screen because my ADHD brain is going to get really distracted by reading a lot of the stuff here while I'm talking out loud. I might get a guest very shortly, but in around 20 minutes or so. But other than that, I'm going to go solo. We're going to keep this thing going. Just replying to my potential guests right now. See how we go. But yeah, jumping into the actual game as opposed to the emotional feelings coming out of that thing. But man, to pull that thing out was so huge. But man, play of the game, it's probably got to be the Jason Tatum behind the back pass. I mean, Tatum, incredible game. I've got the play right here though.
Almost his entire place on its feet. Tatum drives, goes inside, behind the back. Horford, corner three, puts it in. Al Horford from downtown. 2-point game.
Big Al, Jason Tatum. What a play, man. Like, it is ridiculous how well he played in this game, and for Al Horford to step up in the way that he did today. But man, you had to make play after play after play to get back in this thing, because the Pacers just did not go away. This Pacers team coming in today, I said, if you're in the First to Four Discord, if you're not, hop in. Links are in the description. This team is not going to roll over. Defensively, this Pacers team is going to be a lot better without Halliburton. Halliburton is one of the worst NBA defenders, one of the worst defenders in the NBA, like pretty easily. The lack of physicality that he has, the lack of defensive IQ for a guy that's so smart, he's like surprisingly makes a ton of defensive mistakes. So I knew that defensively the Pacers were going to be better. And then offensively, obviously the Pacers are not as good without Tyrese Halliburton. But like, you couldn't tell in the first half of this game, like Andrew Nembhard was like, how different is Andrew Nembhard in this game versus Tyrese Halliburton normally, right? So it's like, the comparison I always use is like the Miami Heat in the conference finals last year. Like, yeah, cool. They can get better from a roster perspective, bring in Terry Rozier, etc. But like, are they going to shoot 50% from three for a series with whatever roster they've got? Then it doesn't matter who's on the roster if they're going to play that well. Andrew Nembhard's been awesome all series long. He's been awesome all playoffs long. He's a really good player, and he comes out tonight, goes 12 for 21, 32 points, 9 assists, 2 turnovers. And in that first half, he was, what was Andrew Nembhard in that first half? Nembhard, 8 for 10, 21 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover. But Tatum, man, we all wanted this. We all wanted this. Like, we want him to play well. We want the three-pointer to go, but to step up in crunch time the way that he did. 7 points and 4 assists in crunch time. They're just loading up on him. 0 turnovers for the game. 0 turnovers in the fourth quarter. And yeah, man, that play is, for me, the play of the game. We got Tatum here also talking about Jrue Holiday's incredible play on Andrew Nembhard defensively.
Jason, you made that defensive stand on that last play, but it was Jrue's steal that really kind of sealed the game. Just what were you thinking when you saw it in real time?
Man, I'm glad we got him. Jrue's a hell of a competitor. Obviously, he's won a championship. And, you know, he was feeling sick this morning, right? He wasn't even able to come to shoot around. So for him to come out here and put it all on the line for us and come up with a big play to win the game, you know, we got a hell of a team.
We got a hell of a team, fellas. We got a hell of a team. What a fucking play by Holiday, man. Like, didn't have the shot going. I guess this is the Jrue Holiday flu game. But like, yeah, clearly Ed gets added to the injury report, and we don't want to see that. And like, he's been so good the last 5 games. He's been like 18 points per game, 79.6% true shooting coming into tonight. Just been like insane. I told you guys last time we had the mayor of Bucks Twitter reach out saying he's happy for Jrue Holiday. But like, Jrue struggled to shoot the ball a little bit tonight. But those defensive plays and man, he's been the head of the snake when it comes to the defense, and he has the 14 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, like, and obviously the play of the game. I just had visions, man. I was like, we're only up 1 here. They got plenty of time. Incredible for us to get back in this game. It just felt like Nembhard was due to kind of cook us there, similar to how we did in the Knicks game. But man, to make that play in that moment, that's 2 games in this series that Jrue Holiday has stolen the game with his defensive playmaking ability. Game 1 forces Halliburton out on the sideline to give us a chance down the stretch of that game. And then again tonight, man, like all season, like early season, I coming into the season, we make the Jrue Holiday trade. I was someone that was like, the gap between Marcus Smart and Jrue Holiday is not that big. I really think when you look at them from a playoff perspective, they're very similar players. And the theory with Jrue Holiday coming into the season was in a smaller role, he's going to be the perfect player. And like he has. Brad Stevens, absolutely. I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer trade. Like at the time, it felt pretty obvious. And obviously, in hindsight, you make that trade 10 times out of 10, even when you give up that 14th overall draft pick to the Warriors. But Jrue Holiday, man, like he has been so immense. After a slow start in the playoffs, we're feeling like maybe we're going to see some of that playoff Jrue Holiday stuff. But now he's made big plays. Offensively, he's been money in this series. And defensively, he's been just so fucking good all playoffs long, all year long. But man, to make these plays so important. But yeah, that contrast from Marcus to Jrue, like, I think Marcus had the capability to kind of play this role, but would he have ever been willing to kind of like take the back seat, be willing to be a little bit invisible? That was always the thing with Marcus. It was like, you always know Marcus is playing. You always know Marcus is around. And like for the most part, that was a really, really, really positive thing in the playoffs. But so many times the offense would bog down and the offense would, in these crunch time moments, really struggle because they would leave Marcus Smart wide open every single time. And sometimes he would punish you, man. Sometimes he would punish you. Other times he wouldn't. But it was less about him making or missing those shots and how defenses guard Jrue Holiday and how defenses guard Marcus Smart. And now he's making these defensive plays. Like he's doing Marcus Smart proud, man. He's doing Marcus Smart proud. Like I always have a soft spot in my heart for Marcus, but in this role, he's absolutely perfect. Like tonight, he only takes the 10 shots, and he's totally happy doing that. He was incredible on both ends. But yeah, okay, we'll do so. Jrue Holiday, despite being 4 for 10, he makes the big plays. His backcourt partner Derek White, and this is not a perfect game, man, by any means. Offensively in the first, again, the offense was totally fine, man. They had 57 points in the first half, 50% from the field, 41.6% from three, 10 for 24 from three in the first half. That's massive volume of threes. Like the Celtics don't lose games when they hit 10 for 24 from three. That volume of threes at that clip, the game's usually over at that point. But the fact that this Pacers matchup is so weird, they are so good at scoring. It's like they just believe that they're going to make all these shots. And so part of it is like their offense is incredible. Part of it was our defense was just like not incredible. And I think Derek White, struggled defensively with Nembhard like a good amount, especially in the first half, even into the third quarter. Nembhard had one play on the left wing, hit Derek White with like not even like a super tough move. It just didn't feel like Derek White was super locked in on that play, and Nembhard got to the rim. But man, Derek White kept playing. 4 blocks. Ends the game with 4 blocks. D White, I've been saying where's the Derek White rim protection been? And tonight we saw it. He made winning plays at the rim defensively over and over again. Early in the game even, Turner got going a little bit, posting D White up, and on the third one, D White was absolutely ready for it, got up high and locked Turner down. Really impressive from D White. But look, not the most incredible game from D White, but again, like he has 13 points, 3 for 11, not good, but he got to the line, 5 for 6, 5 boards, 7 assists, 0 turnovers. The Celtics as a whole did a really good job not turning the ball over. Only 7 turnovers for the game today. Like, it's what's funny, they were kind of like ticking a bunch of the boxes to get a playoff win. Nails from 3, not turning the ball over. Usually that's the recipe to be up big, but the Pacers offense was just unstoppable, and it felt like D White was kind of at the top of the list as far as struggling defensively. As far as the starters go. So D White, I don't know, B minus from D White today. Solid, massive 3 late when they're trying to make the comeback. But he was we'll take that from D White. Al Horford, man. This is all I can say about Al Horford. Where is it? I got the clip right here.
In this kind of atmosphere.
Playoff Al, baby! Playoff Al!
Hey.
just when you think this isn't the series for Al Horford, just when you think Al Horford's looking a little bit old, vintage Al is back again. 7 for 12 from 3, man. 5 boards, 3 blocks, a steal. Some of the defense from Al Horford tonight when we're trying to make that run. Jesse, just me on the show tonight. I might get a guest at some point, but for now, just me. But yeah, Al Horford, absolute monster tonight, man. Like the confidence, the belief after having these games where he just doesn't hit, where they're hunting him on one end to leaving him open on the other end, like to miss a bunch of shots in the last game and to come out tonight. Like this is big volume, man. Like 12 3-point attempts out of the Celtics' 46 attempts, all coming from Al Horford, and for him to knock down 7 of those. I mean, we don't win the game without Al. I mean, I see it in the comments, man. They need to get this man a ring. Like, how many times does this guy come up big for us? How many times does he come up big for the Celtics? One of the biggest stains on Joel Embiid's career is the fact that he could not make it work with one of the winningest players in NBA history. This man wins basketball games. We don't have the ring yet, but this man wins basketball games. Whatever role, and this is what's so fucking awesome about this team, man. The sacrifice. They could have just talked about the sacrifice. It hasn't mattered the role. Jrue Holiday is willing to score 27 points, to score 10 points, go 6 for 7 last game. Al Horford willing to come off the bench, play his lowest minutes in his entire career, and then for KP to go down early in the playoffs and then just step up night after night after night and like have the maturity and humility to get hunted on one night by Garland, or the Pacers have been hunting him, man. And for him to take that challenge personally, you're leaving me open. I'm coming back the next night, and I'm going 7 for 12 for 3. I gotta see a comment here. He's not in the Hall of Fame. The Basketball Hall of Fame is like pretty light. Like he's almost certainly going to get in the Hall of Fame, partly as well because it's not just the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, and he's got the really impressive college career as well. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get in. If he gets a title this year, then it's a guarantee. But like he's had a better career than Vince Carter. Like, let's be honest. And Vince Carter's into the Hall of Fame. Like the Basketball Hall of Fame bar is like pretty low. But yeah, he's gonna make it. I'd be surprised otherwise. But the man, Al Horford, and dude, to go up 3-0, who know? Let's say, well, I don't know. We got to either win this game, next game. We could close this thing out in 4 or 5 to get the extra rest before the finals. The finals are set June 6th. That does not change whether or not this series or the Mavs series ends early. June 6th, right? That is, we got a lot of time before then, man. If we close this thing out in 2 days, that is a lot of rest before the finals start. And like then there's a bunch of rest in between all of the playoff games in the finals. So it's like and we'll talk about Porzingis at the end here, but like we're gonna need Al, man. I'm like excited to get a little concerned that we haven't seen Porzingis at all. Like he hasn't been upgraded to doubtful or anything like that. Like we're gonna need Al. Like Porzingis is not gonna be ready to play 35 minutes a night. Al Horford is going to be ready to go, and to get this extra rest for him across the playoffs. Like if let's say we finish the series in 5 again plus the rest, like he's gonna be massive in a Mavs series. Like one of the biggest issues, like how you solve defense, a lot of the time is you play 5 out, man. And like Al Horford being this guy. Let's see if I can pull up his playoff 3-point percentage after tonight, because he was struggling early in the playoffs, and now where are we up to? 34.7% after tonight, and that includes like some tough nights. But honestly, I'd rather give me the big spike nights. I don't mind if you go 0 for 6. If the next night you come back and you go 7 for 12, like we're winning the games that Al Horford goes 7 for 12. And a Dallas defense that does a really good job packing the paint. A Dallas defense that's had places to hide and places to really like focus in on the opposing defenses, whether it's leaving Josh Giddey open or not having to space out with Gobert, having Al Horford space the court and make sure they have to guard him is huge. So to get this rest for Horford, and it's not just get this rest for Horford, for Al Horford to go out and take the rest. Al Horford can thank himself for his incredible performances to come in the NBA Finals. But man, he's been awesome. And they did a good job keeping him to 35 minutes. So I guess that's a good transition to small ball. They tried it again. On first watch, I didn't think that the small ball worked that well. But then we got 13 minutes of Tillman tonight. And I thought he was pretty good defensively. They went double bigs with Tillman and Al out there. And like, honestly, my brain doesn't even comprehend exactly how well he did out there. It was such a emotionally charged comeback. But I thought he came out and played pretty well. He did come out and try and throw that like backdoor pass to Jaylen Brown on a cut when I was like, that is a very ambitious thing to try after not playing for several playoff games. The first I can get out there. But, no Luke. And again, this is just not a Luke matchup. They're just so fast coming off screens. Playing in that drop coverage without the mobility from Luke is really hard. I thought he was solid. I'd like to see him again now, right? Like, you're up 3-0. You've got a little bit of wiggle room. Can we get Tillman some reps, man? Because, again, not to go too far ahead, but we're up fucking 3-0. No team has ever come back from 3-0. We're not looking too far ahead, but, we're here. Tillman against a Mavs matchup could be useful, man. Can you switch Tillman onto Luka? Can you get some possessions by that way? You see how hard the Mavs are to guard with Luka playing that well. Tillman, 13 minutes tonight, looked solid. Can we get another game with Tillman? Next game, close it out, get some rust off, get his feet wet, get some confidence, not just for Tillman, but can we get Joe? Can we get Tillman to play well enough where Joe can actually believe in him, where it's not just a break in case of emergency? Great call from Jazz in the chat here, which reminds me to run an ad here. Thank you. Be back in a second, folks.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. March is over, but the biggest moments of college basketball tip off in the month of April. Be a part of the action on PrizePicks for both men's and women's college basketball. And get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. You can even make the play-in rounds seem interesting since we all know the Celtics won't be there. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 fantasy sports app. Personally, I'm looking at Derek White more on points because they are criminally low, and we all know Derek White is going to come up big in the postseason. So download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100.
So I have to apologize. It's been 29 minutes too long, probably, and I haven't talked enough or at all really about Jason Tatum. Obviously, I ran that play. That attack and behind the back pass to Horford in the corner was unbelievable. But this was one of Jason Tatum's best games ever, I would say. I think this is not, I'm not going to rank it ahead of the 51 against Philly or the 50 against Philly. I'm not going to put it ahead of the 46 against the Bucks. But man, tonight, this is just a monster performance, man. To go, let's make sure I get it right here. 36 on 12 for 23, 5 for 10 from 3. Thank you, Lords. 5 for 10 from 3. 7 from 11 from the free throw line hurts me. Jason, you left the 4 free throws on the table. You were right there for a 40 bomb. 36, 10 boards, 8 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 0 turnovers. That is the first time in NBA history that stat line has been posted, courtesy of Taylor Snow. First time ever. 36, 10, 8, 0 turnovers. I mean, we talk about this being a captain's knock. This is beyond a captain's knock, man. This wasn't just played solid, kept the team in it, did what needed to be done. This was the get on my back game. This is the game that we've been waiting for from Tatum. And this is not to say that he has not been really good in the playoffs. And Celtics fans have been gaslit all season, all playoffs, about not just the Celtics, but specifically Jason Tatum and who he is as a player. It feels like they're, attacking out about who he is as a person and his mentality and all that stuff. He's been really, really good in the playoffs. After tonight, 26, 10, 6 assists, 2 stocks on only 2.2 turnovers. He's now up to 57% true shooting. He's up to playing 40 minutes per game, man. This guy is the team. This guy is the reason we're here year in, year out. We've got an incredible team. Incredible team. It starts and ends with Tatum. He played 44 minutes tonight. Over his last 6 games, 31, 10, 6, 2.5 stocks, 59.4% true shooting. Last 6 games, he's playing 43.5 minutes per game. Tiny bit skewed because he played 5 extra minutes in the overtime game in game 1 of the Pacers series. 43.5 minutes per game. And you tell me, man, I didn't notice Tatum tired. I think maybe he got that little break end of the third quarter, and then he played the entire fourth quarter. At no point did I think that Tatum is struggling. At no point did I think that he was not battling on the boards and guarding his ass off every possession down the stretch, man. And you contrast that to Anthony Edwards, and I hate that the media has done this to me, turned me into this hater, but it is what it is. He's getting oxygen in the tunnel, man. This guy can barely breathe out there trying to guard on one end and be the guy on the other end. To be the number 1 option in the playoffs, night in, night out, is so hard. When the defense every night, you're at the top of the scouting report. Every night. And then on the other end, you're guarding Evan Mobley. On the other end, you're guarding Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, Nemhard. This guy brings it every night. First half of game 2 notwithstanding. The expectations for this guy are insanely high, and they should be. And for him to have this game tonight, it just feels good. I'm sure it feels good for Tatum as much as anyone, but for Celtics fans, for everyone, to see him have a game like this, to control it from start to finish, he came out and he was he had 15 points in the first quarter, I think. 3 ball was going. I want to say he had maybe 1 3-pointer that I really hated. But other than that, getting downhill, getting to another 11 free throw attempts. I know he only went 7 for 11, but coming into tonight, he was 90% from the line or above. And so it's ironic that he actually missed the 4 free throws while making all of his threes tonight, but we'll take it. For him to come in tonight and put the team on his back to take a 3-0 lead, and this is a team effort, absolutely. But Tatum, man, the way that everyone has been talking about him, and there has started to be this little pushback. I noticed on the Bill Simmons podcast, he made a comment about the Celtics organization is pissed off at how the media is talking about Jason Tatum and how it's just completely unfair the way that he's being discussed. And then on the Low Post, Zach Lowe also talked about it, and he talked about how on one of the shows yesterday or day before, Kendrick Perkins comes into the producer's room pre-show meeting or whatever, and he's like, I've got the hot take. This is Jaylen Brown's team. He's the best player, and it's just whatever reason, Celtics hate sells. Celtics hate gets the clicks, and specifically Jason Tatum hate gets the clicks. And there does now feel like people have taken a step back and realized that the discourse has been insane. Some of the more sane people, Tim Legler and JJ Redick, I thought did a really good job talking about how incredible he's been. There's a nuanced discussion to be maybe really Tatum just hasn't made threes. That's the only reason people are finding a way to attack him. He's been so good defensively. He's dominating the rebounding battle every single night. he has just been completely miscast and by the media as like this Luka Doncic type scorer when like he's so much more than that. He's not that type of player. No fault of his own, man. Like we're asking so much of him for a guy that's like not built really offensively to be like a Luka Doncic usage offensive player. He's one of the best offensive players in the league, like top 10 offensive player, but like he's not, a LeBron level creator. He's one of the best 6'9" creators of all time. Like as a forward, like he's a better playmaker than Kevin Durant. He's just not an elite shooter. But what he brings defensively, what he brings rebounding wise, what he brings from a durability standpoint, every single season, every single night, man. Like this guy bleeds green. Came right like he does, man. He is willing to do what needs to be done most nights. Yes, look, he has that first half in game 2 where I'm like losing my mind about like where is he defensively? Where is he from a rebounding perspective? And he wakes up in the second half. But you look at these other games, man. Luka Doncic has had like 6 games where he's shot 41% or worse in the playoffs. And he gets the injury excuse, of course, but no one remembers that Tatum's wrist and shoulders were fucked up in the finals against the Warriors. No one remembers that shit. No one remembers that shit. For Anthony Edwards, it's he's having a tough game 1, and it's like he must be tired. Is he sick? Is he injured? Tatum brings this every season and every night, man. All Tatum has done in the NBA is win. He is 3rd in all time in playoff points for players 26 and under behind LeBron and Kobe. That's it. Since joining the league, he has the most playoff points and playoff wins. I really think he just became a victim of his own success. Like, if they lose to Philly in round 2 in his rookie year, if they don't make the conference finals in the bubble, do they just like, because he's been at the top for so long and winning since the moment he stepped in the league, is that why people are just like sick of it or whatever? But he's 26 years old, man. LeBron James didn't win a title. Look, we've been through this a million times. I don't want to belabor it. But it's one last piece as far as like fucking the haters. Kendrick Perkins tweets tonight. Best game for Tatum in these playoffs. Huge defensive plays by Jrue. And old man Big Al came up for the Celtics with 7 tray balls on the road. I have something to say to you, Kendrick Perkins. I have the video from Jaylen Brown in the offseason right here.
I had to pull up on my bro. You know how we coming. If you're on that side, just stay on that side. That's all I got to say.
If you're on that side, stay on that side, man. I don't want Kendrick Perkins anywhere near the parade. Actually, bring Kendrick Perkins to the parade. I'll do it. Invite me to the parade too. I'll kick him off the duck boat. It'd be a great for everybody. Like this dude, man. Like his Celtics card is gone. Screw this guy, dude. He like exists to shit on the Celtics. And he would be no one without Kevin Garnett and the boys in green, man. So ridiculous. This guy has a fucking all-NBA vote. All-NBA vote, dude. He has fucking Brandon Pajemski on his all-defense team over Jalen Suggs. Like, I don't even have the votes in front of me, but he's just, it's embarrassing that he's gotten a vote somehow. It's really embarrassing. But yeah, Jason Tatum, I love this performance from him, obviously. And look, man, I don't know if we need like superstar Tatum to win a matchup against the Mavs or the Wolves. I just think we need like what we've got so far from Jason Tatum is good enough to win the finals. But you have a game like he has tonight, and he's been trending in the right direction going back to the Cavs series from game 3 onwards. As I said, 31, 10, and 6, 2.5 stocks per game on 59% true shooting, a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Like this season was all about, I thought it was Tatum's best year as a player, especially from a decision-making perspective. But yeah, man, he's been awesome. And if we just get this version of Tatum in the finals, we can win, man. He can play Luka even. The way that he plays defense, the way that he impacts the game, the way that he can play 44 minutes night in, night out in a way that some of these other stars can't, that's going to matter when it comes down to it. All right. 1 second. We'll be back in a second after I play the second ad read. The NBA playoffs have been awesome so far, so it's hard to not think about trying to get to a couple of games. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down closer to tip-off, which makes it great for last-minute decisions to maybe fly to Boston for the NBA Finals. My dad is literally on the way to Boston from Sydney right now for Game 1 of the second round, and he used Game Time to get his tickets. Game Time has awesome features like seat views. You get a sweet panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. You get a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And don't worry, my dad is not stuck in the space-time continuum. He has been to Game 1 of the second round, and he is now back in Australia. Very happy to be home, enjoying the Celtics win in the comfort of his own home. Game Time, though, was an incredible way for us to get tickets. One more bit on the Tatum thing. If you guys haven't seen this yet, this is Jalen talking about just the game and specifically that Tatum and that play.
Shooting the ball well. Some of those guys turned into fucking Michael Jordan or whatever. And he was like, man, what is going on? Like, we couldn't figure it out. But in the fourth quarter, we just stayed close enough. We would just stay right there. We just kept saying they're going to let us back in the game. They're going to let us back in the game. We stayed between 12, 13, 14 points, striking distance. And in the fourth quarter, we made some big-time plays. Jason Tatum made some big-time plays. That pass behind the back to the corner, Al, hang it in the fucking Louvre. Like, it was crazy. Like, we just had a great grit win tonight.
Hang it in the fucking Louvre, dude. Hang it in the fucking Louvre. But yeah, man, those guys came out playing like Michael Jordan. Tatum stuck with it, played awesome. So happy he's on our team, man. One more thing on Tatum that I remember that I didn't say. One of the things that people say about Tatum, and it's like he's been on a stacked roster since the second he walked into the league. The reason there's a stacked roster every year is because he's the easiest star in the league to build around. It does not matter what players are next to him. He is the most scalable, versatile star in the NBA. He can guard 1 through 5. He can play small he's basically been the team's power forward for 2 years now. But the year before that, he played the 3 when it was Rob and Horford in that starting lineup. This year, he's our main initiator for the most part, man. He can be a point forward. He can do whatever you need. And that's what, Brad Stevens is a GOAT, no question. But Jason Tatum makes his job very, very easy. Trade for really good players, and Jason Tatum makes this thing work. Look at what I said. I mean, Al Horford's good everywhere, but Al Horford goes to Philly, disaster, comes home, amazing. Grant Williams gets himself a monster contract with the Celtics, playing next to Jason Tatum, goes to Dallas, has to be dumped to Charlotte. You'd name it, man. The Kristaps Porzingis having the best year of his life playing with Jason Tatum. Derek White playing the best ball of his career with Jason Tatum. Jrue Holiday, different role, playing some of the best basketball of his career with Jason Tatum, because he's not only willing to play different roles, he's willing to sacrifice, take a step back, man. You can't say enough about this guy, and I'm fucking sick of his name being played with. So glad this 26-year-old superstar is on this team for years to come. We're going to be... People are going to try and pour dirt on us. We can lose a title. You know what's going to happen? We're going to come back next year. We're going to be right back in the Eastern Conference Finals and Finals year in, year out, because Jason Tatum makes this thing go. Jaylen Brown, haven't talked about you, and I'm sorry. Bouncing around here. Solid game. I thought we got a little tunnel vision from Jaylen at times tonight, but ends the game with only 1 turnover, so we'll take that every day of the week. Jaylen Brown, again, 3 for 4 from the free throw line, knocking down his shots. But man, look, you'll take 10 for 18, 24 points. Solid game from Jaylen. I'm careful now because it does feel like we've been a little too hard on Jaylen lately. But look, he, coming into tonight, was the favorite for the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And I think maybe Tatum has now moved into the number 1 spot with this performance. But I think you can make an easy argument for Tatum and and Jalen kind of being neck and neck for Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And that's the point of this team, is it does not matter. Perkins, whoever can come in, try and tear these guys apart. And it sucks, man. Like, these guys hear it. And Lou Williams was actually on some show, and he came out and was like, I've hung out with these guys. They're very private guys. Everybody's always talking about they're not friends, etc. Lou Williams is like, I've hung out with these guys a bunch. Like, they're just private dudes. They're homies. They're friends. They love each other. Jalen babysits Deuce, like all that stuff. Jason Tatum wins the gold medal. And the first thing he does is come back to the US, and you got them in the club. Jalen's biting on the gold medal. Jaylen Brown should be on the Team USA team as well. But like, these two guys together is what makes this Celtics team special. You put these two guys on a team together, and you go to the conference finals basically every year, despite without injuries. That's like the only year they haven't made it was Jalen was injured the year that they that COVID year post the bubble year. Do they beat that Nets team with Kyrie, KD, and Harden if JB's healthy? I don't know. But Jalen, excellent. He's having his best playoff run of his career so far, just as he said, just as he had his best career year in his career in the regular season. He's been fantastic. Shout out you all in the chat. Appreciate you guys sticking with me here. If you can, like and subscribe, would really appreciate it. As we make our way towards 4K subs, keep this thing going. Bench, not awesome. Sam Hauser, man, I don't know what happened. He had that clean look when they're trying to make a run and felt like we had to have it, and he airballed it. Like, that was truly astounding. Let me find it here. For 90-93. Jalen drives, swings to Jrue, finds Tatum down low. Tatum, beautiful kick to Horford in the corner. Wide open to Sammy, buckets above the break. Airball. 90-93, 7.5 to go. Like, that's tough. That's tough, man. Like, Sam Hauser has an 8-year track record of being a 40+% high volume 3-point shooter. I thought Hauser has been okay early in the playoffs. Like, he was really good. Game 1 of the playoffs against the Heat. But I will say for Hauser, he's still rebounding well and doing some of the little things. But the reason he's an NBA player is because he is a 45% 3-point shooter. Because he's a fucking flamethrower from 3, and he can flip games coming off the bench by going 4 for 5 for 3.5. And that's just gone right now. Pritchard was. I thought Pritchard should have been out there instead of Hauser. I was like, if Pritchard takes that 3 instead of Hauser, I bet you he makes it. Pritchard's been money from 3 in the playoffs, and I thought he goes 1 for 3 tonight. To update the scoring here, TJ McConnell, dominated tonight. 10 for 17 for TJ, 23 points. He's unbelievable, man. I don't know what to say about TJ, but yeah. The score is now 2-1 in the Scrappy White Boy Bowl between TJ and Pritchard. But yeah, the bench struggled. This was a starters game. Bench struggled. Tillman was the one bright spot. I thought coming off the bench, being solid. Hopefully we continue that in. But yeah, I'm not going to be too hard on Pritchard. The expectation he's met and he's exceeded expectations for me in the playoffs so far. So to expect him to be awesome on the road every night is a lot for him. We didn't get the big nuts Pritchard 3 in the third quarter, which we've gotten pretty much every game, it feels like, going back to the Cavs series. But I believe he's going to bounce back. He's from a confidence perspective, not someone that I worry about, especially getting the win tonight. All right. Anything else you guys want me to talk about? One question I have going forward, Porzingis, right? We're up 3-0. What's the deal? Is he capable of coming back for a game 4 or a game 5? The obvious answer is, if he's fully healthy, then he should play game 4, in my opinion. I'm not someone who thinks if he's fully healthy and he's been cleared by all the doctors that you should keep him out of game 4. I would really like to get him some reps. I would love to get him some reps in actual playoff game before he gets thrown into the fire against a Mavs or a Wolves. But if he's not healthy, then they're not going to play him. Part of me is do you want to lose game 4? Let let KP play Game 5. But it feels like he's just going to be sitting until the finals. Like, I don't think we've seen any updates that would indicate that he is close to coming back for a Game 4. At this point, I'm probably going to be surprised if he play. Like, my feelings based on nothing, so don't get mad at me. Like, I'm going to be like a little surprised if he's back for Game 1 of the finals. The good thing about the finals is that there's a bunch of gaps between all the games, but I'm at a point where I'm like concerned that he's going to be ready for the finals. We still got like 10 days or so that's a heap of time. And like the last bits of, the last bits of the injury can kind of take a little bit. Like what if you lose him in Game 5? I guess that is a great point, man. Like even if he's 100% healthy, it's like, even if he hurts himself a different way, it's like, fuck it. Like how much is him getting one game going to help him for the finals? Like that's a fair point. I do. It's a tricky balance. I do think if he's healthy, they will play him. It's just, I don't know if he's going to be ready for, he's not going to play Game 4. I'd be stunned if he plays Game 4. But yeah, feels like he'll be out for the series. But it's a tough question. The good news is Al Horford, man. Al Horford. I saw someone ask, like, do you retire his jersey? If he wins a title, you're retiring his jersey, in my opinion. Like right now, Tatum and Jalen are pretty much locks, I would say, to get their jersey retired. If Al Horford wins a ring, I would say he gets a ring, especially gets his jersey retired, especially because of how massively important he has been for this specific run. But I don't know. I think that's it, fellas. I know Ben and Spoonie, we might be back for another podcast tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming the Wolves-Mavs Game 3 on Playback. So playback.tv/Celtics blog. I put the link in the chat here. If you want to watch along with the games, follow us on Instagram and stuff. I'll be posting some clips from us in the Playback today, which is fucking loose towards the end there. But man, 53 minutes solo. Pretty surprised. I didn't know how this was going to go, but shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys all being here with me. All vibes, no breaks. I'm trying to think if I missed anything here. Oh, if anyone didn't see this from Carlisle, this was hilarious.
Rick, you were up 8 with about 2.5 minutes to go in this game.
I just watched the ending, so you don't need to remind me. I saw everything that happened. Everything.
What to you was the difference in that? Everything?
Everything that happened, yeah. Anybody else?
Oh, man. Hold that L on the way out, Rick Carlisle. Hold that L on the way out. The Boston Celtics, 3-0, conference finals, 1 win from the finals, 5 wins from Banner 18. Love you all in the chat. Please like, please subscribe. We'll be back for more. Until next time, go Celtics.